the Genesis Invitational at Riviera. No, not Riviera. At Torrey Pines with Tiger Woods. No, not Tiger Woods either. Guys, we're going to break down the Genesis and all the disappointment of the Genesis Invitational this week, guys. Stay tuned. We're live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome all to Fairway to Heaven right here on the STT Sports Network. Please do me that favor, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. It's free to do. The race to 500 subscribers on this new channel is underway. We're less than 80 away, so please, doesn't cost you a thing to support us and hit those buttons, like and subscribe. This is Fairway to Heaven. I'm Phil Stiefel. We got above to me right there. We got Jason Sullivan, and over here we got Stevie Fuentes. And we are here to talk this week's Genesis Invitational and all the changes going on about it. And, of course, as Adam says, yes, we are fucking Super Bowl champions, too. We've got 2 Super Bowl champions in the house as well. Sorry, Jason. Someday you will get to enjoy that. I mean, someday. I mean, you've got like 900 Stanley Cup championships, so you know what winning is all about. So it's okay, guys. Guys, welcome to the show. Steve, are you like me, still riding? Like, I don't care that I lost every golf bet and my lineup sucked last week because I'm a Super Bowl champion. So golf for 1 week, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm blaming my lineups for sucking on not caring that, because of the Super Bowl. So yeah, the hangover. These are the good hangovers to be dealing with.
The figurative hangovers, not the. I mean, I did have a real hangover on Monday as well, but that's another subject for another day. Jason, as an outsider watching a Super Bowl, and I know Jax was sick last week for the Super Bowl, but I mean, that was pretty impressive to see Super Bowl Sunday, wasn't it?
Dude, that was an absolute dominant performance. I mean, like, as a fan of any team, like, I'm not, I want them to win because of you guys, but I'm not an Eagles fan by any means. But like, just watching from the perspective I have, that was the most dominant Super Bowl win. I was telling Jax, I'm like, blowouts in the Super Bowl don't happen. I can remember one when I was a kid. I think San Francisco beat the Chargers like 56-14 or 10 or something when I was a kid. And that was the only blowout I remembered. And like that score was not indicative of what actually happened in that game. That was a bloodbath. And like I kept like thinking of you guys during the game. I'm like, man, I'm happy for my friends, but also like just like I want to know what that feels like one day. Hopefully.
I got to a point. I was just like, this is nice.
Yeah, this is
nice. I was just like,
nice.
There's nothing better than a game that's never in doubt. Like it's
Well, speaking of never in doubt, last week at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, honestly, the last 2 or 3 rounds, it was never in doubt Thomas Dietrich getting his first win. Thoughts on Thomas Dietrich, but because Jason, me and you, we're in our 5th season of doing this. Thomas Dietrich over the last couple of years is one of those names we kept saying was eventually going to win a PGA Tour event, that he had all the skills, we just didn't know when. So, Jason, thoughts on last week? Because Thomas Dietrich's win was great, but there were a couple other golfers that we've been waiting to kind of return to some glory or to some form that had some really good rounds over the weekend. Thoughts, Jason, on Waste Management Phoenix Open?
Yeah, Dietrich's just like he's underappreciated. I think he always does well in tough events, and like he's a short hitter who does well in long courses, which for whatever reason, like he's a really good golfer, and I always thought he was underpriced. Like all along, like he's a stud, especially in these like strong fields. He's a really good golfer. And so, like you said, though, I mean, it was nice to see him win, but Berger back in contention, Spieth coming back around for the first time. And like Spieth or hate Spieth, he's good for golf.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Daniel Berger was one. I knew you would say Spieth. I'm glad you said Daniel Berger as well, because I know you remember when I think it was in 2022, that 4-leg parlay on the 4 majors. I had Daniel Berger as a winner of a major 2 years ago in my predictions. And obviously the injury has kept him hurt for a while now. And it's great to see someone like Daniel Berger, I mean, put 4 really good rounds of golf together. Steve, thoughts on the Waste Management Phoenix Open?
We talked about it, I think, in the first show. One of the questions was, that you asked us was what are some of the names of people who could possibly get their first win? And, I don't think any of us said Dietrich, but he fits the mold of the type of golfers that we mentioned. So there's going to be more of these type of, these guys who get their first win on tour. So I'm really happy for him. One of my favorite was Griot's slam dunk on 16. That it was exactly what you think of Waste Management and the cleanup crew. They were on it. I mean, they were pretty quick to get the
was there a lot of beer getting thrown around? Because honestly, I'll be honest with you guys. Because of the Super Bowl, I probably watched all weekend like 5 minutes of Waste Management, just because I was so zoned in on the Super Bowl. I watched bare minimum of golf, so I don't even know if the crowds were curtailed a little bit like they wanted to or not.
I think they saw what happened last year. That one, I forget who made. Was it Joel Damon? I can't remember who made it, but like when everybody was throwing all the beer bottles on the course and everything, like that was really much. So I think they probably had extra staff this time around.
Staff. That stadium, I was shocked. I did hear while they were talking about it that does not stay up all year long. That stadium. Oh, that goes up about 2 weeks before. They leave it for about 3 weeks after, because anybody could play that course. TPC Scottsdale. They leave it up for about 2 to 3 weeks for patrons to get that experience. Then it comes down for the rest of the year, which is kind of crazy, because I wouldn't want to play Scottsdale without a stadium around it.
Without that,
yeah, I'd want that experience. I'd want to see Jason teeing off, and I'll be up in the stands booing and throwing beers at him, and then I'll go tee off, and Steve, you could be throwing beers at me while I'm teeing off. That's the only reason. But congratulations to Thomas Dietrich.
I thought that was one of the moments of the tournament too. Is I think on Sunday, Dietrich came in there and he put a shot like 3 feet from the pin, like it was right there. I mean, like that's just like stone cold killer mentality, and I like that. Like just put it so close to the pin, just like no nerves at all. Like it wasn't even a challenge for him on Sunday. Like he just ran away with it.
And the other name, obviously, last week, because the big conversation last week on this show was what to do with Scottie Scheffler at his price, with his ability to win on any moment. Finishing T25, obviously had a very big up and down week. I mean, T25, I don't know when the last time he finished that poorly was. Obviously meant all of us that went overweight on Scottie Scheffler, it was the wrong decision to do, right?
It was. But I mean, I feel like
that doesn't change your opinion of doing that again in the future.
No, it's a little misleading. So I actually faded him. He was 60% owned in the, I think 62% owned in the $1. That's insane. Like no matter how good the guy is, you fade that. I feel like at that point. And nobody knew he was going to be 60%. I think the highest projection was like 40 something. But yeah, I mean, just more lucky than anything else. I think he really only had 3 bad holes. I mean, he was in the top 5 until the back 9 on Sunday, and he had 3 bad holes that took him to 25th. So a little misleading. I think he ran out of gas. I think more so.
You know what's funny, and I love your thought on this, Steve. Like, he started out, so he was in the second wave of the first tee times on Thursday. And so I think Justin Thomas was tied for the lead at -5, early on there. And he double bogeyed like the second or third hole. So he was 7 back with like 3 holes into his round. And he still was the second favorite to win the event at 6-1. Yeah. Like he literally went from 3.5 to 1 to 6 to 1. And that was it after 3 holes. It just goes to show the power of Scottie Scheffler. Like, they don't want us betting Scottie Scheffler.
And we're putting him too, like we're grading him at such a level that it's, if anybody else would have had a weekend or week like this, it would be like, oh wow, there were some great holes, but it just shows he's human. I think he's still gearing up for this year, but also I think everyone else is elevating their game because of the type of season he had last year. They just want to see him run away with it for every single weekend. And I think Rory is a perfect example of that this week.
Yeah, Scottie Scheffler. Everybody wants to beat the best. So I think that's a great point from you, Steve. And so yes, we are at the Genesis Invitational this week. One of my favorite tournaments of the year, because Riviera is just such a great country club. But unfortunately, because of the fires in LA and in California, they had to move the event. They moved it to Torrey Pines, which we just saw 2-3 weeks ago for the Farmers Insurance, a grinder course, one of the longest courses on tour. And they came out right away on Monday morning or Sunday night and said they're not making any changes. It's going to be the same fairway length. It's going to be the same rough length. The greens are going to be like they're not making any slight adjustments to the course. It's going to play the same way. So, Jason, how do you feel about them using Torrey Pines so quickly again? And does that help or hurt you, do you think, in your research for this week?
I think it hurts the DFS player in general, because I think there's so many people that are going to look back and say, like, okay, this is how it played 3 weeks ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think they're going to get stuck on that, I think, a little bit, where, yeah, it's not – they said they're not going to change the course. I'm sure the rough will be a little bit longer. And then also the biggest thing this week is going to be weather. It's like it's supposed to rain quite a bit this week. I mean, that right there makes it a 7,700-yard golf course that's going to be soaked is going to be – I mean, that's a big difference.
Close to 8,000. It's going to play like close to 8,000.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. So, yeah,
Steve, what do you feel about, like, because again, everyone's like, oh, Harris English won the Farmers Insurance. Harris English is going to contend this week. And I'm not saying Harris English isn't going to contend, but what I'm saying is, does it change your philosophies? It's an elevated event. There's 72 golfers. There is a cut. There's a good chance that nobody gets cut or very few people get cut. The cut is top 50 in ties, plus everybody within 10 strokes of the lead after round 2. So there's a chance 1 or 2 golfers, maybe 5 or 6 get cut, and that's it. Maybe actually it's 71 golfers now that Tiger withdrew, I guess. How do you feel about them going back to this course?
I think because the field is so different compared to the Farmers, that part of it kind of helps me not be so like, oh, they just use this course, whatever. I think you have 17 of the top 20 golfers playing in this event. And I just think with the weather, like what Jason said, I think the rough is going to play a lot tougher. Like Harris English, he missed like 13 out of 18 fairways on Sunday, but he was able to scramble and play out of the rough. I don't think you're going to be able to do that this week with the weather and just with the quality of golfer that you're going to see compared to a few weeks ago at the Farmers.
Adam asking, could a long shot winner this week because of the weather? I think a long shot could win because of the weather, because of the fact that almost everyone's going to get through to the weekend. There's a lot of factors that play. Like last week, I had no long shot bets. This week, 4 of my 5 outrights are long shots. So you just never know. I kind of feel like this is a week that a long shot could win. We'll get into that in a bit. 72 conference. Hey, just so everybody knows, there's a whole bunch of people watching. I did create a DraftKings contest just for the Fairway to Heaven community. It's $3 to enter on DraftKings. In the bio description of this show, there's a link to my DraftKings contest. It's just $3. You enter it. You see if you could beat us. I'm in it. Steve's in it. Maybe Jason will be in it. I don't know. $3 might be a little too rich for his blood. He likes the 3-cent events. But yes, I love to see it. Eric, it's a great way for you to test out, the knowledge you gain from this show. Adam, if you want to enter it. Kyle, I see you all in the chat. Josh Allen's wasted career. That's right. We're Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl. Let's do the Super Bowl shuffle. Yes, Josh. That's correct. Thank you very much, Eric. And yes, Sue. Justin Sue is not in the event, Kyle, but you're more than welcome to pick him in your DraftKings lineup.
Yeah, where's Justin Sue been? He hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Justin Sue, his bubble burst, and not that he had much of a bubble.
Such a great
Let's get into it.
3 years ago, I used to play him all the time, too.
Yeah.
Kyle's the Sue master. I don't know why, but he is. So let's get into it. Obviously, the Farmers, as a recursion, we've already said it, one of the longest courses on tour. With the weather, even longer. It's just going to mean, in my opinion, 2 things have to stand out more than anything. That's driving distance, and that's that proximity from 200 plus. Steven, do you agree, disagree, or am I putting too much weight in those 2 things?
No, I have driving distance, accuracy, just because of the weather and how how the rough's going to play, and bogey avoidance, because you're not going to get many chances for birdie here. Like par is okay. So those are the things that added to what you were saying that I'm looking for.
Jason?
No, I pretty much agree. Just the long irons. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to 200 plus, 175 to 200 too. I think you're just going to face a lot of long irons. And it's kind of segue into the top part of the board a little bit. It's like I always kind of start my weeks. I don't know what you guys do, but like, am I playing Scottie or am I not playing Scottie? And it's just like a week like this, I feel like it's almost impossible to not play Scottie, to be honest with you. Like a grinder's course where his skill sets are just better than everybody else's, it's hard for me to not play him this week.
Here's something that interesting that I kind of was thinking of, because I'm trying, when they're elevated events, I always seem to mix things up a little bit. I'm kind of in the mindset this week, because it's an elevated event, because almost everybody is going to make the weekend, that bogey avoidance isn't as important to me as others, because everybody's going to make bogeys. It's who's going to make the most birdies to go along with the bogeys. So a guy like, not at the top of the board, we'll get into him later, someone like Victor Hovland, who's going to probably make 5, 6, 7 birdies this week. Yeah, he might make 3 or 4 bogeys. He might make a double bogey, but birdies count a lot. So DraftKings points, not birdies, but DraftKings points, to me is very important this week, because I want guys that are going to play 4 rounds and are going to score the most points when building my lineups. I saw you shaking your head, disagreeing a little bit, Jason, but
no, I wasn't disagreeing with you. No, I completely agree with you, actually.
Because I was thinking about it, because a couple weeks ago with Justin Thomas, or last week with Justin Thomas. Yeah, he's kind of in that hot and cold round where he's making a lot of bogeys, but he's also making a lot of birdies to go with it. And when you're going to, I just want the guys that are going to score.
No, I was more not really shaking my head as much as just kind of like, you guys, I feel like both had good points. Like, you're looking at the birdies, you're looking at the bogey avoidance. I feel like it's not bad to look at both. I mean,
yeah.
Crazy.
Well, both are on my model. I just weighed bogey a little less than everybody else and added the DraftKings points. Look, Liv has not merged yet. We're not really getting into Liv too much on this show. That's not really our cup of tea, Liv golf here. Sorry, Josh Allen. So anyway, let's look at the top of the board. Jason, you clearly say play Scottie Scheffler this week, and I don't disagree, but I think there's 4 golfers at the top that there's an argument to be made for all 4 of them: Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, and Colin Morikawa. Justin Thomas, again, had a really good showing last week, made some birdies, made some bogeys. Rory coming off his win. Colin, this is a course that he should fit with. Where are we at the top of the board, Steve?
I'm going to actually skip Scottie in a lot of these, just because of his price and where McIlroy is priced. And I just think he is playing at a better level than Scottie. And you're not going to get McIlroy in the 10s anymore for the rest of the season, probably. So he's coming off of a win. He skipped last week. I'm going to start a lot of my lineups with Rory, and I'm going to play like Rory and Colin sort of lineups, just because of the value you have even down in the 6K. We were talking about Berger. We'll get there when we talk 6K. But those 2 guys for me, Rory and Colin, you were talking about, the California boy, he plays well at these courses. Those are the 2 guys for me in the 10K that I'm looking for. I'm skipping Scottie.
We'll get to Russell Henley. He is in the field, and yes, get in the hole. That's all. Yeah. I want to bring up Mista's comment, because I kind of mentioned it in the cold open. Tiger Woods isn't that old. Why is his career too short? First off, Mista, for you not knowing, obviously he's had debilitating back issues for years now. He's had more back surgeries than Hulk Hogan himself, but also then a few years ago when he got into the car wreck. I was shocked he committed to playing this event at Torrey Pines, being the length the course is. Unfortunately, thoughts to Tiger Woods and his family. His mother passed away last week, so he did withdraw from this event, which in theory, in my mind, is probably best for him golf-wise, because I think he would have struggled walking Torrey Pines, especially in the cold, rainy weather, which is not good on a bad back, not good on a leg, all the hills. So thoughts to Tiger Woods not being in the event this week.
No, I feel bad, because this is like it's usually his course, it's his event and everything. And I know I was trying not to ahead of time, but
Aberg never missed a chance.
No, you look forward to seeing him. Like you said, we haven't seen him in a while. Play an event, and even if you're only going to get 2 days out of him, the chances that he would have made for the cut. This is one of those events where it's very likely to get 4 days out of Tiger. So it sucks, and like you said, thoughts and prayers to his family for the loss of his mom and what they're going through. Yeah.
Back to the top of the board with Scottie and Rory. Ownership is going to be high. It's an elevated event. It's a small field event. I'm looking at the ownership, and we always talk about pivoting. Is there an argument to be made that you just pivot off of all four guys at the top and maybe look at a Ludvig, Aberg, or Hideki, or a Cantley and just start your lineups with a bunch of 9K guys? I mean, I have so far. I made 4 lineups so far, and Rory's in 2 of them so far. Okay, but in my mind, I can make an argument that you just skip that whole group because I love Aberg this week. I do. He's not sick anymore. He's a guy that's going to win this year. This is an event he could win. For every reason why you say Scottie Scheffler, Jason, I could say the same thing about Ludvig Aberg. Is there an argument to be made to do that?
I don't think so, just because I think you could make an argument to fade Rory and Scottie, but I don't think you could fade the top 4, to be honest with you. I think Morikawa brings a lot of win equity in there, and I think Justin Thomas has been playing pretty good golf too. So
yeah.
I don't feel like you could fade the top 4. I feel like maybe the top 2 just to avoid ownership at all. But I think if you do that, I think Morikawa is the easy pivot.
Easy pick. Gotcha. In that 9K range, I think there's a lot of great plays. And, I love Ludvig Aberg this week. I think, people are going to be off of him, not realizing that really his struggles were because of sicknesses the last couple of weeks. You got Hideki, who's won at Torrey Pines. We got to remember, we're not looking at any Genesis history here. We're looking at Farmers Insurance history and the U.S. Open in 2021 at Torrey Pines. That's what we got to be zoning in on. Hideki's won at this course before, so Hideki's an option. You got Cantley, who for some reason I like Cantley this week. I don't even know why. Sung J.M., Tommy Fleetwood, Taylor Pendrith. So far, right through 9K, I think they got the prices right on just about everybody. Steve, what do you like in this 9K range?
A guy who I almost never go to, but I like Sanjay. I think the way he can scramble, his putting, this course is set up for him, and he plays well in high elevated field events like this when you got the big guys out. So in the 9K, he's actually my only play that I'm going with a lot this week.
Sorry, Jason, us Eagles fans, we can't think top. We're just thinking Eagles Super Bowl.
Yep.
The parade's on Friday. We're just zoning in on Eagles. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I agree with you on Sanjay, actually. I don't play Sanjay a whole heck of a lot either, but he popped for me this week quite a bit. My only question with him is I could see like a T5 or T6. I'm not sure if I could see him winning. That's my only question mark with him, but I'm going to be playing him too. I like Bobby Mack at the bottom. I think he's a guy too. He played well last week, and I think his skill set fits really well for the course. He's long off the tee. His long irons are really good too. So if he can putt, which that's my biggest concern this week, is that how are these guys going to putt on this course? Like we've heard so much made out of, putting in Phoenix is so easy. Like, well, is Bobby Mack going to putt well here is my question. But I like Bobby Mack.
Yeah. Bobby Mack's not in the 9K.
Isn't he? Oh, is he 8?
I don't even see him on.
I got
hold on 1 second. Bobby Mack's 81.
He's 81.
Yeah, we're just totally jumping the gun there. Going from 9K to 81 on that, but that's okay.
All right, in the 9Ks, Fleetwood is my
Fleetwood. Again, another guy that probably can't win, but is a strong play. Like I said, I'm in on Aberg. That's my guy in the 9K range. I'm going to take that to the bank. To get to Eric's question about is Russell Henley in it, he's at the top of that 8K range, which again, just like any event that's elevated, you're going to have all great guys. The key question in the elevated event this weekend in the 8K range, Jason, is Jordan Spieth, because he's in that 8K range. Jordan Spieth has been dreadful for the better part of over a year now. He seems healthy. They were talking to him in the Waste Management last week about how when it's warmer out, his wrist feels better. It's going to be cold and rainy this week, but he played really well last week. What are your thoughts on Jordan Spieth this week? And is 1 week enough for you to kind of get in on Spieth?
No, I don't think it is, to be honest with you. I think that we haven't seen enough out of him. And I think, like you brought up a good point, like there was no weather last week, 75 and sunny every single day. It's like this week's going to be cold and miserable. Like I don't like Spieth at all this week. I think the course length also hurts him, like being 7,700 yards. I mean, that's a bomber's course, and he's not a bomber. So if he sprays it around here, he could get himself some big numbers. So I'm off Spieth.
But here's my question about Jordan Spieth, because in an elevated event, you got 72 guys. Ownership's going to be elevated on a lot of guys. Right now, he's a sub 5% projected owned guy. He's going to not miss the cut this week. So you're going to get 4 rounds of Jordan Spieth. So to get creative, you play 30% Rory, you play 30% Scottie, and then you add one of those with a 5% Jordan Spieth. Does that make the argument a little different? I agree with you. No, 1 week's not good enough, and that risk in the weather is not good enough. But in theory, everyone's looking for that advantage over the competition. Steve, thoughts?
Spieth is always a no play for me until he wins like a major. But your argument, you could definitely get some people, I feel like, with that when it comes to ownership, because ownership is so huge when it comes to DFS. And when you're talking about guys like this, you said aren't going to miss the cut, who got a T4 last week. And didn't you say that you were going to play a Eagles win and Spieth top 10?
I didn't know.
No, I said a Scheffler winning a
yeah.
Was that?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I know someone said something about Spieth in the top 10. I was like, oh, shit.
I was so far off. Maybe Elise said something because Elise is the Jordan Spieth whisperer. I don't know.
My only thing with Spieth too is that he gained almost 8 strokes off the tee last week. Like, you're not going to see that at a 7,700 yard golf course. True. He also gained with the putter, which he hasn't done in a long time either. So yeah, I got to wait and see a little bit more, I think.
I think it's a smart thing is to wait and see with him for sure. I just, I just, everybody's looking for that pivot and that advantage. I looked for it last week and I landed on 9,300 Rasmus Højgaard, and you guys both shook your head when I mentioned Højgaard's name, and I mean he fell late on Sunday down to T12, but he was in contention for, he was in the top 5 for a majority of the tournament. I like Højgaard again this week because again he strikes me as the grinder. I mean, you need length, but you also need to grind. You need to make pars. You need to make a 1 birdie on a par 5 occasionally. That's what you need. And Højgaard's a guy, again, just like last week, his ownership might go up a little bit. Since his price went down, his ownership might go up a touch, but I'm in on Højgaard again at 8,300.
On day 1, on Thursday, him and his brothers like completely swapped spots. And when I thought the Golf Channel like messed up the first initial, and I was like, what happened? And then I went and looked and I was like, oh damn, but no, I'm with you. His driving power is crazy, and he's gonna be good in the future.
Absolutely. At the bottom of the 8K range, 8K is the Waste Management Phoenix Open champion Thomas Dietrich. Is this a week you go back to back, not to win per se, but follow up that big first win? I hate playing golfers when they get their first win the next week because they just don't know how to handle the status of winning, the celebrating, the buying drinks, the going out to dinners, all that stuff. But on the flip side, sometimes these are grown men. It's a profession. It's a job. They got to move on to the next week right away. And this is a big event for him. Dietrich, Jason.
He fits well for the course. That's the hard part. I was literally just looking at his numbers right now, right when you said that. Like, he fits really well for the course. He's good on long courses. He's number 3 in the field in DK points on courses over 7,400 yards. Like, he fits perfectly. I do caution it because it is his first win, and I do wonder about that. But he's also 32. It's not like he's 22 winning his first tournament. Like, it's a little different. I mean, that's a big advantage being a little bit older, and he probably has a family.
He also played well here at the Farmers a couple weeks ago. He had a top, I think, 15 or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, T15. Yeah,
T15. Yeah. So now here's where it gets a little tricky. Here's where it gets a little interesting in the 7K range. And when I was doing my research before ownerships even kind of leaked out, I saw 7,900 and I saw 50-1 Victor Hovland. I know Victor Hovland has not been a great golfer this year. He's made like 600 changes in 2 weeks to his swing. He's fired 75 swing coaches. Yeah. He's an entire mess. And I'm like, but he's still Victor Hovland and 50-1. How can I turn that down? Got to place a bet on it. I'm like 7,900. Well, that's really cheap. Then I look and he's pushing 20% ownership. Is that strictly because of the name value so far down the field or so far down the board, Jason?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, he's just a way better.
Do you think it balances out by lock on Thursday?
No, I think if anything, it goes higher because I think so many people are touting him now, and I think just seeing that how much better he is than anybody around him. I mean, like, there's no comparison when he's on his game. He's not around. I mean, Mav McNeely, Minwoo Lee, Keegan, Benny An. It's like he's so much better than that class of golfers. So
he might be better than Thomas Dietrich, even who's just above him.
He just seems, I don't know. It's like that's like another guy. Like, to just kind of wait and see for me. It's like I don't know. I don't, especially at 20% ownership, I don't have enough faith in him right now. Like you said, firing your coach left and right, changing your swing over and over again. Like guys that are changing their swing don't have it. You don't change your swing if you're playing well. So
the only thing I will say in his favor, and again, the ownership percentage scares me like crazy, and it going up even worse. 7,700-yard course, going to play close to 8,000. He's probably one of the longer hitters on the tour, and he's a guy. Yes, he's going to make some bogeys, but he is going to get it on the green in 2 on some of those par 5s and make some birdies and have some eagle opportunities. He's a guy that if he plays all 4 rounds, can score you some points. So I understand why the ownership is up. I wish his price was 8,500 maybe or 8,700. Then that ownership would be in the 5-6% range, and then I'd be a lot more excited. Steven, thoughts on Hovland and any of these other guys at the upper 7K range?
I am just betting that Hovland is streaky with his putter this week because I have him in almost all my lineups so far. I have 5 lineups, and I am finding a way to get him in, and I can't help but just see that price. And I'm okay with the chalkiness of what you're going to eat with him this week.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Also in this 7K range is Harris English, the defending champion at the Farmers Insurance. You know, what do you do with the defending champion at the Farmers Insurance, Harris English? Because it's going to play even longer. And I know he's a grinder, and I know he hits fairways, but I don't know if Harris English can contend on an 8,000-yard course.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. He is good in like U.S. Open style courses though, for whatever reason, like which is weird because he
hits fairways.
Yeah, but then like to Steve's point earlier, like he hit I think 7 fairways his last round, like last week. If you do that again this week, you're in big trouble. So I don't know. I'm probably off him. I normally do play him a lot, especially in this kind of event, but I feel like I don't know. I just worry about the length of this course.
Steven, anybody else in this upper 7K range that you like this week?
No. Oh well, no. Willie Z. I always forget that he was up there. He's another guy who I from the beginning of the season I've talked highly about him putting on that weight and him just putting on that muscle. And I think this will be a course where we're going to see if any of that muscle is paying off with the distance that this course has.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm looking at, we talk about Victor Hovland, a long hitter. We talk about U.S. Open. How about a former U.S. Open champion that, again, has struggled? Again, no cut event and can bomb it, who's at even lower on this 7K board, and that's Wyndham Clark, 7,300. His ownership is 5-6 points lower right now projected than Victor Hovland. Another guy that's super volatile. Would never consider betting Wyndham Clark. But at 7,300, you're getting a former U.S. Open champion from what? 2 U.S. Opens ago. There's an argument to be made for another U.S. Open type guy that can bomb it off the tee.
And people, you say you never bet him, but like people got him at 100-1. Like that's a situation where you do bet him. Like he's just way better than that number. But no, he just hasn't. He's been so bad. That's my biggest concern. And I think I was shocked to see only 14% ownership because I think he's going to be like 25-ish.
Has he been that bad? I mean, he was 16th last week at the Waste Management. So before that, he was bad, but he's got a 16th and a 15th this year, 1 missed cut. And obviously a T73, but yeah.
The narrow fairways with him scare me with how tight the fairways are here when it comes to Wyndham. I like Adam Scott this week.
A lot of people like Adam Scott, and that kind of concerns me, the amount of people. I mean, he's already at that 20% projection. There's a chance that guy goes up to 25% as well. Stam Stevens is another name in this range. You guys have any thoughts on Stam Stevens?
Bomber. He played well last time here. Bomber for sure. I don't know. He just looked a little bit off in his last outing, so that makes me a little bit nervous. Can he repeat it again here with a tougher field? I worry about him a little bit. So it's probably not.
Any other names, Jason, you like in the 7K range that we haven't mentioned?
Corey Connors, I like. Just U.S. Open style course. He's another guy too that hasn't been as good as he normally is. But I just like him on like this kind of course. Like another guy that can't win, but like a T10-ish would be okay for him. So I like Corey Connors, probably my favorite. And then another one that's really interesting to me, keeps popping up in all my research, but has been horrible the past few times out. Max Gracerman, great long iron player, good off the tee, but like he's popping in everything for me. But at the same time, like he just has looked so bad to the eye test the last few times out.
Almost like every week too. He's almost playable.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so into the 6K range. It's a lot of names in the 6K range. Obviously, we've mentioned Daniel Berger's name a few times. I'm all over Daniel Berger. He was the second bet I made this week because I've always liked his game. Guy that I thought could win a PGA Championship or a U.S. Open. You got former U.S. Open champion Matthew Fitzpatrick. You've got Andrew Novak, who's won some recently. My man, Christian Bazunhut. You got another U.S. Open champion, Gary Woodland. You got Nick Taylor. I mean, they've really loaded the 6K. You got the Farmers Insurance Open guy, Max Homa, who's just dreadful. How's he not 6K? I don't know. You got Justin Rose, who's won on this course before. You've got a who's who in the 6K range, which almost makes it possible. And Tom Hoagie, because somebody want to mention Tom Hoagie, the Hoagie man right there. So there's a lot of.
Can I ask you guys both? Why, it seems like every single week that Woodland plays, why does he get so much love? I mean, I know he
because of the story. To me, it's the story. I'm attracted to his redemption story.
Good iron player, obviously. But I mean, people just people bet him every single week, smart people. And I'm just like, what?
I don't bet him. I will when he's cheap like this.
Yeah.
And his ownership is low enough. His ownership is, I forget now. Let me pull it back up, but it was super high.
It's going to be 20%. So
yeah, I don't think he's worth 28% or 20%.
No, we talked about him versus betting a guy like Wyndham Clark. Wyndham Clark has proven recently he can do it. Yeah, he's not been as good for the past 6 months or something, but he's proven pretty recently that he could be a star. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that 100%. But there are a lot of great names. So Jason, Aaron Rye's in this range. I'm a Rye guy.
Yeah.
A Rye guy.
That's what I call it. I'm a Rye guy. Okay. So Jason, your favorite play then in the 6K range?
I like Rye, actually, to be honest with you. I think
you just you just want to be a Rye guy,
I have always been a Rye guy. No, my two favorites are probably actually Rye and Novak. Novak is it's hard to explain him. He carries himself like Scottie Scheffler, but he's not a Scottie Scheffler level player. I don't know if you guys have seen him play much, but he just walks with a swagger. He thinks he's he belongs and he thinks he's probably better than he is. So I like him. Another bomber. So yeah, I'd say him and Rye are my two favorites.
We got the food. It's the food level. We got the hoagie in here. And we got the burger in this level. Perfect. Steven, who else do you like in this 6K range here?
I got two guys. I got Cam Davis at the top of the 6K range, just for his being able to bomb it off the tee, and then at the bottom of the 6K, what is he? He's 6'3". Michael Kim, driving accuracy and just coming off of a T2 last week. So those are the two guys in the 6K range for me.
I want to double check his ownership real quick, but he's right now it's 7.7. I got to look at Justin Rose instead of Adam Scott. Justin Rose, he's won here before in 19. He's got multiple top 10s at Torrey Pines. He plays well in bad weather places like Pebble Beach. I know he's older, but I can see him competing. He's not going to win, Justin Rose, not at all in this field. 7.7% right now on Fantasy National. Yeah. It's not bad at that price point. I kind of feel like Rose could finish top 10, top 15 in this event. And if you put him in some of your lineups, you get extremely great value if he stays under that 10% marker.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Especially you go Rory, and then you go Rose, and then you still got plenty of money in the middle to build out a quality lineup. I think it's a slam dunk play.
Yeah.
All right. Let me put up the graphic here where we are at as a trio here with our head-to-head competition. Let me take those notifications off the screen right there. The one and done. Steven is still dominating the one and done, but Jason, you are on the board too. And I'm bringing up the rear because I just suck. And my one and done last week just kind of, withdrew. I guess he got sick. In our DFS weekly contest, Steve is up 2-1. Guys, again, if you're watching, there is linked in the description a Fairway to Heaven DraftKings contest. I've capped it at 50 people. Whatever. It's $3 to enter. See if you can beat Jason, Steve, and I in the contest. I'm going to put my lineup I build on this show in that contest, just so you guys know.
Okay.
That's where I'm going to start putting my lineup in. But if you guys want to compete against us, click that link below. I'm going to try to run it. There's only 6 or 7 people in it so far, but, it'll be fun. Have a little fun with us here. So let's get into lineup building and a lineup contest. Who won last week?
Me for the first time.
So that was your first win. Okay, gotcha.
Win. Yeah, I'm gonna.
So Jason, what's the order?
We're gonna go Steve 1, you 2, and me 3.
Okay, Steve 1, me and then you. All right, so I can write this down so I don't dupe it. So, Steven, you're on the board first. Who you going with?
Steven.
Just so I can get him, I'm gonna go Rory.
You're going to go Rory right off the bat. And just so I can get him, I'm going to go Ludvig Aberg right off the bat.
Look at you guys go. Just so
I'm
I can
taking
get-
my top guy.
Just so I can get him.
I made my big bet on Ludvig this week at 25
I'm gonna
to
go
1.
with the same strategy of both of you, just so I can get him. I'm gonna go Cam Davis.
Cam Davis.
Oh,
Okay.
damn you!
I
Cam
love Cam
Davis. Well, you get to go twice. So you could have taken him with your second pick if you wanted to.
I could have.
You didn't have to go with
I
him on
wanted
your
to
first
prove a
pick.
point at
You
this
could
point.
have gone with him on your second
Yeah,
pick.
yeah. I wanted to prove a point at this point.
Okay, got to prove a point.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Cam Davis, and I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna go Bobby Mack.
Bobby Mack.
Ooh.
Yeah. At 9K or at 88K,
Well, I
whatever
thought
you
he was
said.
9K.
Yeah,
I
what do
would've paid him at
You get taxed an extra $1,000 for your misinformation.
I'm not
right
so
there.
excited. I just wanted to play him.
You have to
Talk
leave
about
an
it.
extra 1,100 on the table with that. I'm gonna go again. Put my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna go with a former U.S. Open champion that's been struggling lately, and I'm gonna go Wyndham Clark,
NDC. Nice.
7,300.
All right.
Too good of a price
Um,
for as good as he is. I mean,
It's way too good of a
I know he's
price.
been
and-
bad, but still.
yeah, you gotta love him.
I'm gonna go with Hovland.
My guy.
It's a good pick.
Again, scared of the
And-
ownership, but you know what?
Yeah.
I still love it.
Yeah, in terms of this, and dang, you took all right, I'll go Burger.
The Burger Boy. All right. So you got Rory, Hovland, and Burger so far. All right, so I got to go a little cheap here with my next pick, and I'm going to go with who I just talked about as the last guy before we start this at Justin Rose at 6,400.
Rose. I like that. I like that
I think it's a good safe play.
from.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
And now-
well,
now
even
after my
when you
3
talked about
picks,
it,
I got 8,800, so I can go all over the place at the top of the board now.
I'm gonna go with a dude that does not deserve to be priced this low. He's been good
With a
recently. I'm gonna go Siwoo.
Oh.
Siwoo was good, but not great. He was
saved
tight
himself.
last week, but he was kind of like, I don't know,
Well,
something was off last week.
Shouldn't be 7,100. That's
No.
too cheap.
he dug himself a hole on Thursday. 'Cause
Yeah.
Friday he shot what, I think it's 66
Yep.
to just make the cut.
Oh, I have 2 picks. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to go
My
twice.
first time.
So.
My first
Yeah.
time. I'm gonna go.
It's your first time, first day on the job. It's okay.
I'm gonna go Scottie.
Scottie. What's that leave you with? Scottie, Bobby, Woo, and Cam Davis.
78.50 for the rest.
78. That's still pretty solid in this field. So
Yeah.
that's not bad. All right, so I'm up. I'm gonna go with Rasmus Højgaard.
There you go.
2 weeks in a row on that guy.
You love that guy.
Yeah.
He's my new Aaron Rye, the guy you're gonna make fun of me for
wears
always
numbers.
liking.
All right. What do I got? 2 picks. Let's go Morikawa
Good pick.
and
Keeps going with the all potential team right here. He's got potential to just blow us all out of the water this week.
Yeah. He does.
and Akshay.
Akshay Bhatia. All right, so
Another bomb.
all right, so that puts me back on.
Yeah,
the
I'm
board
going.
again.
I'm trying to go Team Bomber here.
Yeah, Team Bomber, and I'm going to go Team Shorty, and I'm going to take Patrick Cantlay off the board.
That's what Phil's wife said.
Oh,
Do you see?
Oh,
Do you see
oh, wow! There he is. He's done. He's off the board on that one. Wow! Wow!
Oh,
That was harsh.
sorry.
That was harsh.
Yeah.
Do not laugh at that joke.
You
Do
didn't
not
deserve
laugh at that joke. That is not funny. No.
that. In honor of our boy Tiger Woods, I'm gonna go Tiger Finau
Tiger Pino.
with that.
Gotcha.
pick. That's gonna leave me with 75. I'm gonna go Connors.
Connors.
Oh,
All right. All
I
right.
can't tell if I like my lineup or hate it.
Yeah, I was just gonna make the same joke, but all right. So I got 8,800 left. Oh man, I'm torn. I'm torn, man. No, I'm not. I was gonna take Spieth, but I'm gonna take Russell Henley instead.
Safer.
oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go safe with Russell Henley for my lineup right
You know
there.
what?
I've
That's
already
all-
got a risk in Wyndham Clark. I don't need another risk in that
Just
lineup.
coming off a wrist injury in cold.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
The
cold
cold-
and
if it
shitty
wasn't
up
going to be
there.
cold, if
Yeah.
it was going to be typical, like 75-degree weather, I'd play Jordan Spieth this week,
Yep.
even with the longer distance, but not with the cold weather and the rain. I know how my body feels in the rain, so we ain't going there.
Who was your pick before Henley, Phil?
Cantlay. So my lineup is Aberg, Rose, Clark, Højgaard, Henley, and Cantlay.
Perfect. All
Left a couple hundred on the board there.
With my last pick, I'm going to go Aaron Rai.
Aaron Rai. I was going to go Aaron Rai, but it left me with so much that I could have taken Scottie or Rory, but you guys already took both those guys off the board, and I didn't want Justin Thomas this week, so kind of had to switch up on my Rai guy. But I will say this, guys, my bets this week, I do have Aaron Rai, and I think it's insane that his number, like the numbers on the betting board this week, are even crazier than the DFS lineup. I got Aaron Rai at 110 to 1.
Wow.
110 to 1. Like, that's insane. And I don't normally use anything but DraftKings. I've got a Fanatics Sportsbook account right now. The odds on the Fanatics Sportsbook account are insane. Well, at least they were on Monday morning. I got Rai 110 to 1. I got Berger 100 to 1. I got Scott 90 to 1. Hovland 50 to 1. And I got Aberg 25 to 1. All those numbers were 3 to 5 to 1 more than on DraftKings.
That's how FanDuel's been. I just started using FanDuel like 2 weeks ago. That's how FanDuel's been too.
Rai was 100 to 1. He was 110 to 1 there.
Yeah.
Hovland was 45 to 1. I got him at 50 to 1. Aberg was like 19 to 1 on DraftKings. I got him at 25 to 1. Yeah, now that I have 2 sportsbooks accounts, I better start shopping these prices now.
Smart.
Yeah. Steve, did you make any bets? Because I know you're struggling with that.
Yeah, I got Colin Morikawa 14 to 1, Sanjay 30 to 1, Willie Z 45 to 1, Henley 45 to 1, Adam Scott 80 to 1, and then Cam Davis 100 to 1.
Okay. All right. Jason, I know you said you were struggling as
I'm
well.
Struggling worse. Yeah. So I only have 2 bets made so far. I'm going to probably get like 2 more, I would say. I have Cam Davis at 100 to 1, and then I have Jake Knapp at 250 to 1.
Jake Knapp at 250 to 1.
He replaced Tiger in the field.
I was going to say, he just got into the Tiger.
So there is still 72 guys in the field. Okay, gotcha.
He's only 6K too. I think I might do a first round leader as Jake Knapp. He seems to be.
I like that idea, actually. I don't bet first round leader. I'm terrible at first round leaders, but I like that one.
He seems to be great in the first round and then tails off after that because he was up there on Waste Management.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right. So 1 and done. Obviously, you got a huge lead on us, Steve. If you want to go first on your 1 and done this week,
yeah.
Where are you going to go?
Done. Let's go. Shit. I didn't even think about that. Screw it. I'll go Sanjay.
Sungjae. Okay. Gotcha. Jason?
I'm going to go Bobby Mack. I'm really going all in.
And I hope you guys are keeping track of your 1 and dones because I'm not keeping track of them. So I hope you're not duping them or anything like that.
I sent it to you today. Yeah, I sent it to you guys today.
Oh, you said it? Did it have everybody's picks on it?
Yeah.
I saw the dollar amount. I didn't see the picks on it. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah.
I got one on my board.
I'm trusting you guys being honest here. I only got my names written down here. I'm going to go with Rasmus Højgaard as my 1 and done because the guy also plays the DP Tour. I don't know how many more events he'll play. I think I'm going to go Højgaard there. Rasmus, not the other one, not the brother,
not Nikolai,
not the brother. So with that being said, we kind of wrapped up our Genesis Invitational a little bit early. So we're just going to spend the next 5 minutes or so, Jason, Steve, and we're just going to do our Super Bowl dance for the next 5 minutes because we're Super Bowl champions here. Steve, are you going to the parade on Friday?
I can't do that many people at one time with I going to games is good and all, but oh man, I'd have to be out of there. I'm gonna blame Valentine's Day on it all.
You've had the best response today. I asked him if he was going to the parade, and he's like, "Dude, a lot of people and my knees hurt. I just can't."
Yeah, I was like, I'm not built for that anymore, man.
I was watching the news before the show, and before they did the weather report, they were talking to the businesses along the parade route where the Eagles Super Bowl parade's going to be, and a lot of the businesses are pissed off that the city chose Friday, Valentine's Day, because it's going to hurt their Valentine's Day business because the parade route is going to be closed from 9 a.m. till 6 o'clock at night. Yeah. And all those businesses, I know Valentine's Day is the 2nd or 3rd busiest day every year for me. And being on a Friday this year, it'll probably be my 2nd busiest day of the year this year. Okay.
I would do a heart pizza.
big heart pizza person, man. I jack that price up and I make myself so much. Let me tell you something. I love it. And I love the lead up to it. And I love counting the money afterwards. But when you're in the kitchen and you have 20 tickets with 4 heart-shaped pizzas that you got to shape just perfectly instead of just in a round circle, it's annoying as all hell. Let me just be honest. In the heat of the moment, it sucks big time. But I love the money. So I do it. But I feel for those businesses that are going to lose Valentine's Day business for the parade. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. That's that. This is Valentine's Day weekend, too. Jason.
Don't say it.
Gotta move to Saturday. It's
it.
Saturday now.
No?
Don't
What do you think I'm going to say? I just said you got plans this weekend for Valentine's Day.
No.
You don't have a parade to go to. You don't have an excuse like Steve and I not to get our significant others something, You know, Steve's paying for a wedding, you know what I mean? So
yeah, so this year I'm off the hook, so I'm good to go.
Yeah, you're off the hook. You gave her a ring. You don't got to give her anything for like 5 more years at least.
When are you guys getting married?
March 15th, 2026.
Can I come?
I was going to say, what's the
yeah, absolutely.
What golf event is approximately March 15th? Can we do Fairway to Heaven from his wedding reception?
It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday. So that'd be good. Just a quick little snippet of whoever wins. It'll be around that time of whoever
cheering our one and done on competition at his wedding right there.
Hopefully it's Aaron Rye. 2 gloves.
full circle moment.
Yeah.
Oh man, can we all wear 2 gloves to your wedding?
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
Gloves on. That's weird.
We got off the track. We got off the train track so far ago on this show here, guys. Anyway,
we went back to golf though. We got back to golf.
Yeah,
right.
Got back to
Jason,
some sort
we got to
golf
plan
talk.
a golf party for his bachelor party. That's what we got to do. 3 of us get together, play golf. Before I even finish saying it, Eric's already talking about it. Doing bachelor party stuff in the comments here. There's got to be a Fairway to Heaven bachelor party for Steve. You know, I think
there's
Jason's
enough
on
golf
board.
events. There's enough golf events this summer. I think there's one in Detroit. There's one.
There's one in Philly this
Truist?
year.
Yeah,
Truist is coming to
Truist.
Philly. Maybe
Yep.
you can use your connections at Steampunk to get us some credentials to that. You know,
I might be able. I might be able to whip something up because I think Scott knows some
I don't
people
even
who
know
like
anybody at
golf.
Steampunk or whatever it's called. They're sorry. I don't know what the brand is exactly there, but I know they got
Everyone calls
networks
it
all
Steve.
over the
It's the
country.
best.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they're everywhere.
with that-
It's weird. I don't know
With
half
that
people.
being said, we're gonna wrap this shebang up before we say anything that gets us in trouble here. But guys, this was the Genesis Invitational version of Fairway to Heaven this year. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to Core 12 for jumping in tonight. Be back tomorrow with Trending in the AM at 8 a.m. More Eagles talk, more Super Bowl celebrations. But with that being said, guys, everybody have a fantastic night. For Jason, for Steve, I'm Phil. Y'all have a great night, and bubbles up to you.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 pop.